Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Doing well.
Yeah. Um. So I'm back after a week of craziness and stuff like that. Had a lot of stuff going on with school and everything, but I'm back in here. Um. Yeah. Y'all did a few things last week, and there's just some things run up dev. So I'm still gonna have to catch up in the future, but we can just go over the things in which we talked about today and then continue on from it. Um, so I guess one thing we can talk about is that we reached that milestone on the when was that date? I forget was it 14th or something that we did that. Um, so that was like our like there was that was our date in which we it was a kind of a it was kind of like one day was just pretty much like, hey, we're meeting up, we're gonna show it off, but then everybody was like, Rent Up There was like, hey, we have our sister site, Game Dev Blue, coming, and so it's all craziness. So yeah, we'll have to another time in which that stuff like when nothing's happening and everything, we'll try to do it so we can actually show it to the Run Up Dev folks and in a more at awesome making everything. So that's going to be a goal in the future. Alrighty, so let's take a look exactly for the general project this week. Shiloh, you did a lot of this pieces right here. Actually, would you mind just you yourself going through this possibly and just explaining about everything that went on for the last week?
Yeah, so can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Sorry. The mute thing on my keyboard. So yeah, on Tuesday night especially. So we talked about this a little bit last Sunday. We were talking about how we thought that maybe the tutorial would be a good way to focus what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we sat down and kind of went through it a little bit. Shay and I did on Tuesday, and edited the design doc to reflect that. Um, I'm just looking at this. Alright, so the
Beautiful.
tutorial walkthrough using glowing effects and animations and so yeah, basically actually let me pull up the design doc. Is the link on there still? Yeah.
It should be. I'm glad we put these up here and everything. It makes life a lot easier.
Yeah. So if we go down to the tutorial walkthrough, I know it's in there somewhere.
Right there.
Okay. So yeah, you can see all of the edits that we made on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Shay and I really tried to pare it down to just what was necessary to get the player started.
Mm-hmm.
And I have all week this week watched video after video after video on game design and like tutorials, and basically I think what we did was good.
Cool.
You really don't want to give them more than they absolutely need, and
Right.
you don't want to feed it to them. You do want there to be some guesswork. So I think what we have here is pretty good. Let me tutorial walkthrough. I'm just gonna. Maybe I should share my screen while we do
Do
this.
your thing, sister dear. Do your thing.
Here. So let's see here. Screen. We'll just do screen one. Sure. It'll be the infinite tunnel, and then I'll bring this over. All right. So, first things first, we want to, encourage the player to pet the kitty, because that's
Right.
kind of the most important part of the game, right? Interacting with
Yeah.
the cat.
Interacting is goal one.
But Shay and I discovered that that isn't actually a functionality that we have yet.
Right.
Just simple interaction of petting the kitty. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something that we need to add. And then
Okay.
as soon as you pet the kitty, the mood meter adjusts accordingly. So it goes up, and the color of his collar changes, and you see all those things that start to happen when you interact with the cat. After
Right.
the mood reaches purple, the mailbox flag raises, noise, particle effects, and the kitty move towards the mailbox and sits so that you know that you need to interact with the mailbox, and the mailbox would glow.
Mm-hmm.
So once the then it goes to the player getting mail. Um, we want the mailbox to glow until they tap on it. The letter flies out of the mailbox. The animation opens the envelope and letter. A picture of an item highlights to interact. So the button that the player needs to press is essentially the image of whatever the item is that they need to interact with. And that will
Mm-hmm.
glow. So essentially, think of the icons and pictures as buttons. Um, Once the player taps the button, the letter disappears, and items maybe fly around once with a particle trail and then zoom to the book. This is to kind of make them realize that it's going somewhere. Um, and then the kitty moves to the book and sits, and then the player sees the book and it glows to encourage use. So again, we're using that glowing mechanic, and we're establishing a symbol language. Like the glowing means you need to interact with it.
Exactly.
One good point that Shay brought up is that we don't have to do all of this in the beginning. Like what we've got here is just enough to get them started. But if
Right.
down the road we have something that's kind of complicated to use, we can then again use the glowing mechanism in order to instruct them how to use it the first time. So it's not something, the tutorial doesn't have to happen just in the beginning of the game. We can use it again later on for any complicated items that we add. So
Okay.
then we move to using the book. Again, this is just a, you know, you the particle trail disappears when it's interacted with. The Sparkle Kitty's icon glows. So this is again making the picture of the Sparkle Kitty a button. When the player taps on the icon, they come to the character sheet for Sparkle Kitty. Sparkle Kitty's favorite toy glows, so that becomes a button that when the player taps on it, the item sheet comes up. And
Right.
with the ingredients needed to make the toy, maybe that highlights. The player should have just enough to create one toy. The craft button glows. And so you can hit the craft button to make that item. When the player clicks on the button, the number of items increases, the toy
Mm-hmm.
item increases, and the place button glows. So then you can place the item. When the player clicks on the place button, audio plays and the item floats in front of the camera with a particle trail to play area. And maybe the ground plane glows or something like that to indicate you need to place it here. Um,
We could have like a grid that sort of glows off and on, or maybe like
yeah, maybe something like that, just to
dots.
give the player an indication that you need to place it here. Um, it's only the first time; it doesn't have to happen later, but at least this first time, so they know that they need to put it on the ground.
Some of that might not be bad to do every time, like having the ground glow.
It's a good
I
reaction.
exactly. I agree with that. I don't think it's. I think it'd be all right to actually show that grid thinking. So kind of think of it this way, like with the lab on the Vive. They're like every time you teleport, it shows that grid of exactly where you'll be teleporting
Yeah.
to say yes or no, stuff like that. So that type of like response can be very helpful in saying you can place it here, you can place it not there and stuff. And I think it's very simple to create a type of that look in that location and everything.
So we do have a simpler. The area you can place in is a lot simpler than like the um, um, one you had mentioned. Uh,
The lab.
but the
Yeah.
lab, yeah, it's a little larger than the lab, but
Mm-hmm.
still, it might be not bad just to.
It's a nice language, and it's actually something fairly common in
Yeah.
games. So it's just a good iconic way to speak to the player, like, hey, you're interacting with the world now.
Like also like just make it clear that like maybe you try to click the button, you don't even know if you necessarily click the button.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to have immediate sort of like
Feedback.
indications that you're placing things now.
Yeah. So when the player clicks on the ground, the item is placed. Sparkle Kitty plays with the toy. The mood starts from green again because, for the tutorial's sake, it's resetting, and again improves.
I think it'd be more clear if it just like it only went at one level the
maybe,
first time,
maybe,
and stayed there, and then you make it go up a second level.
maybe.
So in other words, it doesn't go directly to
Like-
being happy. It just goes straight and like it's actually getting
I feel like if it goes down, there should be a reason for it to go down.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that's true.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so we'll just make it improve again. And then what we had our walk to the food dish. Book glows again. When the player clicks on the book, it opens. The food tab glows, so they can go to the food tab. The player clicks on the food tab, and the kibble icon glows. And they always have kibble that they can place. So
Right.
the player clicks on the kibble icon, the place button glows, and then the player clicks on the button. Audio plays, particle trail leads to food bowl. Player looks at the food bowl, particle trail disappears, and glow stops. And I think that we actually have to click to place. Or does it place automatically?
the
food? Yeah.
You place it wherever you want.
So we'll click it to place, and then Sparkle Kitty eats. And that's the end of the tutorial. The new kitty would join at that point. That would be enough to attract the second cat.
Real quick, on the food bowl,
Mhm.
you place the food bowl for the first time. Can you move that food bowl in other places, and when you're crafting more food, does it just fill up the food bowl on the floor?
Or
I think we should probably place it.
If we want to place it, I'd say like if they eat all the food bowl just entirely disappears.
That's a good indicator that it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, because you don't want just like empty food bowls all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, no, that's what. Yeah, so make it so that. Oh, hold on.
I mean, the other option would be like when you place a new one, it sort of the old one sort of disappears.
Yeah. But I like it disappearing when it's empty because it's an indication that they're missing something. They can just look at the scene.
Clearer than just an empty food bowl.
Yeah.
That works.
So Sparkle Kitty eats, the new kitty joins, audio plays, and the tutorial is over. So at that point, they can interact with the cat however they want. And what this does is it gives us everything functional in the game for one round, basically.
True that.
You craft something, you place two things, food and treats, and you interact with the cat. So, and you earn a new cat, you improve the mood of the cat. I think this sort of encompasses everything necessary for the player to understand to play the game. But if you see anything else that's missing, feel free to speak up. Like, I totally agree with the food bowl disappearing, and I totally agree that instead of restarting at green, that the mood should just improve because there's no reason for it to go down.
Okay.
So that's what we did Tuesday, pretty much. To catch you up on that.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
So I'm gonna go back. Is this you or is that me? That's you.
Yeah, that is me right now. Cool. Alrighty. So.
There we go.
Yes.
So that's what we did Tuesday. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I need to explain. No, I think that I feel like it gives us a focus and something to work towards. So.
Exactly. I think the good focus as well. I mean, we're getting enter September, and so now we can like try to make it a goal to try to get the tutorial up and going. And I think that'd be like a really good like way of showing, hey, this we have to. It's like, so I showed it the other day, and I was kind of like, so the person played and everything wanted to pet the cat as soon as they saw it.
Yep.
As soon as they saw it, they wanted to pet the cat. And I was like, okay, we need to work on that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something that we need to keep in mind and double check. So do we want to set a date for the completion of the tutorial?
I think probably baby steps on that. What is the first step
Okay.
towards completing the tutorial for
At least for
everybody?
tutorial, it seems as though um, there's a few things like animations, and that's created by David.
Mm-hmm.
David, I hope you're okay. You haven't said anything, but I hope you're okay. Um, and then part of the coding pretty much is going to be Shay. And I think we have all the pieces necessary. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. That really sucks. You just type in everything. Um, so animations, code. I don't think there's anything needed from the art department. So unless I'm missing something, I
No,
think
there's
it's
a
all
ton
necessary.
for the art department.
Oh well, yeah, the top of the art department for like
The
oh
there's I mean the tutorial itself doesn't have. I feel like the tutorial itself doesn't have a lot of new things.
We
No,
will have
it's-
like a grid or maybe a target or something that.
The I mean,
oh
like in
yeah
terms of, like there's a bit of work that still needs to be done. A bit of what needs to be done from like art and stuff is just stuff that needs to be done for the game that's
Yeah.
not there yet. Like the you pet the cat and the cat animates. That's something that we don't have yet. That it's like part of the tutorial, but it's also just part of the game that we need.
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Which makes me wonder, should our cats have eyelids, and should they be able to close their eyes when we pet them, or is that...
Oh, that's a challenge. So you have to rig up eyelids and stuff, and I don't think our rig has anything like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you could sort of
Maybe
make their
they
eyes
don't
closed without really
animate
having
down.
eyelids. Doesn't be
Yeah.
realistic.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Someone. We all almost spoke each other. Go ahead, somebody.
Shay.
Shay, go ahead.
I mean, you could sort of. I feel like with the model we have, you could sort of make the eyes close
Mm-hmm.
without actually having eyelids.
So are the eyes actual circles or balls?
The new model that Jared made, I have to look at that again.
Because if they
It's sort of-
are, then you can just rotate them and put fur color on the back.
Yeah,
Like the eyelids don't need to animate down. It could be frame 1, frame 2. You could have...
And then
Okay.
For that matter, you can just change textures.
Well, yeah, yeah.
texture that is over. It's like a extra geometry right over the eyeball. And
Not actually geometry, just literally changing out like the texture of the cat itself, so that those eyelids are the same color as the fur around it. And I think that should take care of that. Does that make sense?
that would work to like switch textures in and out to...
Mm-hmm. It would literally be well. So what it would do is that, my goodness, we would have like 2 textures for each cat, and one of them literally has the cat's eyes just
Closed.
colored over. Yeah, closed
Yes.
and everything. So
right
color
now-
over the eyes.
yeah. I think right now, so the eyes are very much just a texture.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it doesn't even really have like eyeballs modeled or anything like that.
No.
I think
So
there's
yeah, I
a
would just have
second
like a
highlight that's
different
extra geometry.
texture. Yeah, you could have an eyes closed texture. You can maybe even have like a half closed texture or something too, and sort of
Yeah.
animate it.
Then it would be like, okay, yeah, you're right, Shay. Yeah, so that's just so we can just change up the texture. So that'd be something for the art. So if you want to, if we're going to have eyelids opening and closing, then the art department has to create a new texture for each cat that has that's the color of the fur that's around the eyes, colored over the eyes, and then give that to us and say like dash eyes closed, and that should be fine.
Okay. I do think the specular highlight on the eyes is extra geometry.
Specular can be done by materials, so there's no need for there's no need for probably more geometry and stuff like that. We can literally just add the material on those eyes themselves. We can just change the material to actually become more glossy and make it look more realistic. But that would be up to Jared and making sure that those things are different materials. And then David might actually have to double check it to make sure it's different material in Blender. and then when it comes to Unity, then we can just change that in code to actually say, actually we just change the material in there to make it a little bit more glossy and a little bit more real. But that should be very simple. So it's all done in Unity with the modification of the materials. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to take notes on.
Oh yeah, you're fine. You're fine. I just want to make. I just want to make. I just want to let you know. Okay. Oh crap! I was want to do something, but now name mine. Okay. So that's awesome. So for the design department, looking back at, oh shoot, can you guys see my screen? Yeah, you can. Looking back at this, so getting work on getting the book up to date. I'm guessing that was the book in which that's our main book and stuff. So continuation on there's been work on that. So I added parts. So for something I did, I added parts to design documents that are necessary right now. So like I added some information about the new materials that are needed. So information can be set there, and also I added some more information about like the new cats and stuff like that. So
Sweet.
the fantasy region has those pieces in there as well. So things can be added there for the time being. So now we have places to put stuff in there. So okay, Shay, go ahead. Would you?
I didn't actually do a whole lot, but I started to look at, or most started to think about how exactly to implement the tutorial a
Right.
little bit. I didn't really get anywhere with actually doing that.
Okay.
And I was looking at like the animated mouse and mailbox that David made, and there's still like separate FBX files, and the FBX files with animations have like somewhere between like 3 animations to 30 animations for what should be like 1 animation.
Okay.
And so I really quickly like rigged the mouse and made a couple animations. And I put the Blender file and the FX file up on Dropbox as an example of like what those should be like.
Okay.
So I don't know, David.
He's talking right now. Let me see.
Dropbox or Google Drive?
The Drive.
Oh yeah, I was going to
Did I
say no. I was
Dropbox?
like, yeah, you did say Dropbox.
I don't know.
I was like, for a second, yeah.
Yeah. So I put it in there's a folder called FBX files where David was putting stuff. I made a new folder in there called One File, and my sort of examples of what I wanted those to be is in there.
Okay. Yeah. Alrighty. David's still typing, so we'll once he gets finished, okay. We'll come back to him. Alrighty. So Art, thank you, Shay, and also I didn't say thank you, Shay. Thank you, Charlotte, and thank you, Shay. So art department, how's your last week been and stuff like that?
Pretty well. So I'll start with models. Jared has uploaded image for the castle mailbox.
Okay.
So that's complete, and
I didn't get to see that. Let me see.
On the design and art Discord. Also.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah. So he I like what he did. He let's see. He modified the castle tower to sort of fit the structure of the mailbox.
Right.
And continued from there. And aside from that, we changed up the he modeled the star sticker, and we changed that up a little bit. So that's changed in the crafting item model as well as on the red ball.
Do you want to share your screen?
I can't. Oh, I mean, I want to share. I don't know how to share
Well, he can
Discord.
share his screen. Zach, do you
Oh
have?
yeah.
I'm on one screen right now, so I'm like reading the document and looking at the Discord.
Okay.
So
it's harder. Okay. Well, you can put it on top of the Discord while you're talking about it. Or not. That's cool. I just was trying to encourage other people to share their screens so that we can.
Yeah.
I would if I was on with my other monitor.
Gotcha.
It's just go to the design and art. You can see it pretty easily, or the Trello. Actually, it's not on Trello yet.
Oh wait. So that's how that works. Oh, okay. I can do it. Ta-da!
There it is.
Yeah. So that's the castle mailbox one. I love that. I love the handle.
Yeah.
It's all fancy.
Is there a fence for the castle?
I thought there was
like a rock wall.
Oh, I haven't done a concept for the castle wall yet.
I think you did a while back.
Oh, you did? I can't.
Yeah, I think you did. No, you're fine. Could we?
I know we talked about the idea of
it's
having
the moat. It's the water moat.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah.
the moat is the fence.
Yeah. And there's
Here's a concept.
Along it too.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the concept one.
It's modeled too.
So that's great. Then we're good.
Let me look at that real quick. Is it just part of that? Is it just the moat that's part of the castle model? Do you know?
That's actually an excellent question.
It's been a while. I wish Jared was here to explain.
No, it's fine. We can find it and everything. We'll make it work.
It's not with that castle model that I have.
Like, I think when we were talking about it, you mentioned that they were all separated.
That's the castle. And then that was a concept.
There's an image somewhere of the moat.
And the moat? Well, the moat is right there.
Yeah, but he modeled it.
He modeled it? Yeah, I guess I'm not seeing the model in here. We'll have to ask him exactly where it is and stuff.
Maybe on Twitter or something.
Maybe he usually posts stuff on Twitter. So,
I'm gonna scroll up a lot.
They're looking on the
oh shoot,
the Poly site. I don't see anything that has. I see the castle that has the 5 stages of the castle, but there's no
moat. Okay, so all right. So let's. Okay. What? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. So make note of that, Zach, and everything.
What will you need for him to be able to? Let's see. Will you need that separately?
I mean, I can separate it. As long as it's not like one. He doesn't really. Usually, his things are pretty separate. So, yeah, as long as they're separate meshes, I can sort of separate out the pieces from the file. Like the castle, the 5 stages of the castle is one FBX file, but I just went through and destroyed I just made copies of it and deleted the parts that weren't part of each castle.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, if it's in that same model, that's fine. Or if it's a separate, I mean, separate would sort of be easier, but
I'll let them know to upload it separately.
um,
Oh, I didn't see. I didn't get to see that, Shiloh. Thank you very much for discussing that. Um,
Oh yeah, symbolism.
yeah, symbolism and whatnot. I was just when I saw the star and stuff like that, it did look that way and stuff. So I was like, maybe we just need to make sure that. Well, yeah, but
It is kind of strange. Like that star symbol can be
mm,
represented by a lot of things.
right, of course.
Like it
So
could be
he's
like
getting star and pentagram mixed up. Pentagrams actually have the the five-sided polygon within the. So that's more like a Star of David right there.
Yeah, that's exactly.
the,
That's exactly.
the sixth one is very much, I think, of the Star of
That's
David.
very Star of David. Yeah.
Yeah.
The five-pointed
Five one
star
is,
has a
I
lot
feel
of
like the
different.
5 point is the common one you see is just generic
Yeah,
star.
it's got a lot of
Exactly.
Western connotations.
Right.
Mostly that it's like in Western society, it typically means star of the show or highest rated or something like that.
Yeah.
So typically for us, it doesn't have any kind of negative connotation.
Exactly.
But connotations like that with symbolism, it could be varied depending on what religion you're in, if you're religious, what you've heard. Some people just think that they understand what something is and they don't actually know what it means. So if you want to look it up, you feel free. But the gist of my comment was, if people want to find meaning, they will. They can find it in the color. They can find it in the order something's done in. They can find it in however they see fit. So if they want to find extraneous meaning within it, they will. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Our intent is to use it as a communication device, and as long as it's performing its function as that communication device, I think that we are doing our job as game designers to make it work. If they want to see something else there, then that's up to them.
We won't have to worry about that now, though.
Anyway. Yeah. Yep. I'm sorry. Yeah. It was just it was like I saw the Star of David and I was like, oh, can we just go to the regular like Charlie said Western Star? That'd be great. So yeah, but people will see what they want to see and stuff. So it's understood. I'm sorry, Zach. We got off topic again. My bad. What were you guys looking for? Were you looking for anything or whatnot?
Oh, I can't find it right now, but I'll try to share it if I can.
Okay, cool.
But continuing on, David has scaled up the envelope, envelope in the mailbox, and when it comes out.
Okay.
And, I've completed the Night Kitty concept.
True. Awesome.
That's
okay. Okay. So I guess I'm take care of the rest of the pieces. So I made some new audio cards for I think it's the name escapes me right now. Chris, yeah. So Chris is gonna be working on the project for until the 30th, and so he's gonna do the last few pieces that we needed, and I put those cards in there for him to actually take a look at and stuff. So
Chris Royce?
So no. Chris, what's his name? Chris Stevens. He's Vior. Vayer. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So he's going to be working on the project to the 30th, and then he'll have to leave. So I gave him a few more cards to do, and it's pretty much things we're working on, like the bouncing ball, the flag, and everything, the creaking of that, and a couple of things. So that'd be focused. So I didn't do Screenshot Saturday because of the fact that I couldn't think about something that I just couldn't think about like what to do for that day and whatnot, so I didn't do it. But hopefully like next week we have some other pieces and stuff like that. And also we could just post other different types of content. We don't have to actually post live AR viewing. So we might change that up and everything, just do some concept art for the future and stuff like that. Doing concept art in the future, I think would actually be better. So we'll work on that. All right. So for this week and everything, pretty much a general project, just continue working on completing the project before the end of the year. I know that's really vague, but I couldn't think of anything right now for that. But pretty much to continue on with the project, just making the certain steps to make our goal and everything to make it happen. So I don't think there's any
stuff for the tutorial.
Yeah. Oh yeah, good. Oh, for the design part?
Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to get at here is the big ideas are we need to get the petting the cat working, Sparkle Kitty interaction working, mood meter working, the mailbox interaction working, the letter interaction working, the book interface updated, and the book interaction working for the tutorial to be complete. So basically I'm gonna kind of break these down into separate little things, and then each of those will, like this one up here under petting the cat, we have cat animations and reactions for that we need to animate. Scroll up just a little bit.
Probably the eyelids now too.
So cat animations reaction, that's gonna be art department, right?
Yeah, it's gonna
so
be.
that gives you guys something to put on your list. Ability to use finger on screen to pet the cat. That's something that's gonna go on Shay's list. Per sound, that's gonna go on audio. So basically, I want to try to break this out into pieces for everybody so that we can kind of get lists going.
We might
get some focus.
I might. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overspeak you. We might maybe grab some sounds that somebody made before. What was his name? Oh crap, he was from South Korea. I forget his name. But when he was working on the project, was his name Kevin?
I think his name is Kevin.
Yeah. So yeah, well, he made some. Oh, Cliff.
Cliff. Oh no.
Yeah,
I'm
Cliff.
Thinking of somebody from before that.
True. Yeah, Cliff made
I don't
some.
think the stuff he made was really very good for like a meow sound.
Oh, was it like the? It was like
they're almost like music tracks made of meows.
Yeah, they were.
It wasn't very good for like if you just want the cat to meow.
Okay. So maybe I'll just put Opie beside Mike.
I mean, I've got some cat sounds. If we want to use real cat sounds, we have to decide if we want to use real cat sounds or if we want to make cat sounds.
My thoughts are, for the time being, let's just use real cat sound. If we want to use some crazy sounding cat sounds, that's just some juice that we can add in there. Does that make
Well, it's just a style choice.
Right.
Because we're doing kind of cartoony animals, so realistic sound might not be the best selection.
So it's just more work, but I do sort of like the idea if we could having like different cats make different sounds.
Yeah.
But it just can be a lot more work on making all that audio.
I mean, if we go with made cat sounds, you can add things like, a gravelly cough cat or something. If you've got maybe the trash can cat is kind of like sickly or something, and
it's just work to do that for several different sounds for however many cats.
Yeah. It's all like Shay said, it is extra work, but the thing is that it will make it
two sound people that might be interested. So, right, we still have 2 audio people working on this project.
We still have 2 audio people. He is also. I haven't heard from him for one of them for a bit. I might poke him to see exactly he's doing. He's mostly working on the background music and all that fun stuff. Because he was taking our suggestions and making that. But viewer, also known as Chris, has been working on the sound effects, and so he has those cards to do that. So do you want me to create a card to say, hey, we need like maybe a different sounding like a meow, but like a unique sounding meow?
So character meow sounds. Does that make sense? I think it would to an audio person. Instead
Yeah.
of trying to be a realistic cat, maybe like what Shay is saying, each of them has a slightly different sound to them when they meow.
Okay.
It's almost humanizing them a little bit.
I like that.
Okay, so um,
Each cat will have its own voice, characteristics, um, they'll need an individual meow sound, maybe a purr sound, and maybe a growl sound.
Her might not need to be. I don't know if that would need to be different. Like, whenever I think of a purr sound, just I don't. They don't seem that very varied.
It's
But
mostly just
you might
pitch.
know. Pitch.
Yeah.
So just editing the pitch a little bit per cat.
Yeah. So that they have some differentiation. They don't have to be like super characterized for like a purr is hard to characterize, right? But it's you can, if it's a petite cat, it might have a lighter, higher sounding purr than like a Tubbs that is gonna have like a real low, gruffly loud purr. So you can work with pitch and volume to create quite a few different. It's kind of like intensity of color. You can do things with it that are subtle, but it adds a little bit of juice. And those are the kinds of things we need to start thinking about.
Yes, I agree. Okay. Meow, grr, and purr, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Is that so? Everything I just wrote down, does that make sense?
yeah, so one is for a positive reaction, one is for a negative reaction, and one is to get the player's attention. So maybe they meow when they appear on the screen. Or if they want something. A growl if they have a negative response, and a purr if they have a positive response. And that reinforces the interaction with the cat.
Exactly. All right. Fully cooling. Done. And I'll put myself on there for the time being so I can keep a check about what's going on.
Cool.
All right. Cool. Awesome possum. Moving on up to the. Oh God, I'm just gonna stop right there. Let me see.
So then we have the system that we need to work on for the mood meter, which is something we haven't hardly touched yet, but I'm sure Shay knows what he's doing, and he probably has an idea of where that's going.
The big questions I have on that is like just sort of the details of how exactly things impact the meter. Like one thing is just sort of like if a cat goes and eats, as it's eating, does it like constantly slowly build up your meter, or like is like when the cat's done, there's a big jump, and should those jumps always be seen? Like we have like the 5 discrete colors that it goes through. If you do an action and the meter goes up, should it always go up enough that you see it go up a whole level?
So the question is, do we want the player to actually see the reaction, or do we want them to because that's kind of an immediate thing, right? So if we place something down that the cat likes and it immediately increases the cat's disposition, then we understand that that's something good for the cat right away.
Right, exactly.
Sort of like how explicit do we need to be with that?
Yeah.
Like, because there's other feedback also, maybe that the cat likes something. I mean, like with
the purr sound would be
the food and toys. One thing is it just doesn't really play with them if it doesn't like them that much.
Right.
And then like if it purrs, then it's obviously happy and you're doing something to make it happy. And if it's growling at you, then you're obviously making it less happy.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
other feedback, but
intuitively, how do you feel about it? What would you think would be a better choice?
I mean, sort of simpler thing. I feel like I don't know. Sort of feel like we should go with the sort of very like you do an entire action that makes a cat happy. It clearly goes up a whole level.
Yeah,
Um,
like the mood color doesn't change if you place the bowl right away, but it changes maybe while it's eating.
yeah, I was thinking like they almost have to complete an action, like
Okay.
eating.
That way, like you would notice the cat's mood changing. Like your focus would be on the cat while it's eating, and you would observe that the mood is going to change right there. Instead of, like you're focusing on placing an item, you're focusing on that cat bowl, not the cat at that moment.
Yeah.
So you don't notice that change.
So you
Like
don't
you
notice
wouldn't
a change.
placing you wouldn't really get like you wouldn't make the cat happy. I think for placing something like food, it'd be when they're eating the food.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking like they.
Oh yeah.
The meter would jump up like towards the end of them eating the food. Like if they go eat for like an instant and then get distracted by a toy, I don't think the eating should immediately jump their meter up. I don't know.
Distraction. So you're saying literally like for a real cat and everything, they might go for the food, then someday they might see a toy and go for it. Okay. And then it's a whole different thing. And so you shouldn't.
If you shouldn't. Do that, like I don't think you should get the increase in happiness for the food.
I agree.
So I think it's
100% agree.
You should have to sort of complete whatever the cat's doing. They should have to sort of complete it.
Yes.
And then the meter jumps.
Yes. Yes.
And do we have
the timeline?
Whoa.
Hey, he came back for a second.
Hello, David.
It lasted for like 2 seconds, David.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Oh wow.
But anyway, do the colors fade from one to the next, or do they just switch? Like, might be better just to have them switch fast.
Switch.
Instead of
switch fast, and just do that.
So I'm gonna say increases noticeably.
Yeah.
Is that how you spell noticeably? No.
It's not. It's saying it wasn't. But...
Close. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll need to work on the mood meter, and that also involves the color changing collar, which I think is also programmed. Right, Shay? You're doing that with
Yeah.
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 Do we need any particle effects when the new level is reached? We had talked about like little happy faces of the same color popping off the cat or something.
Yeah, you could have like a little. So I think that could be sort of polished so we don't worry about it immediately.
Yeah.
But you could have something like a particle effect that sort of comes out from the collar
when it changes.
When it changes,
and then fades away, maybe.
Yeah. The particle fades away. Yeah.
And
that way it makes it more recognizable.
Yeah, and then you got sound at the same time for that, like maybe a little bling, or whatever sound of increasing, or like if it goes down. I don't know.
Something pleasant though.
Yeah.
Something pleasant for good. Something that obviously means that the cat's upset if it goes down.
Right.
Then we have the mailbox interaction, animations, and effects. I haven't finished listing out things for these yet, but I will list them out much like I did above. But if you think of anything, feel free to add it. This is for everybody here to kind of just, work together to make a list of things that we need to get the tutorial going.
True that. All right. True that. All right, cool. Shay, was there anything you wanted this week? Or I guess it wasn't in there, so.
I don't know.
Okay.
I need to figure out exactly what. I need to figure out exactly what I'm doing.
Okay.
There's a bunch of different stuff.
Okay.
I might get started on actually making the tutorial.
Okay.
Or I don't know. Another big thing would just be sort of. Actually, I might do that first. Really should just work a little bit on trying to improve a little bit of stuff with the book, a little bit of stuff with placing items into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the book needs a lot of work.
Yeah, and some of that, again, I might ask for input on.
Yeah. We had the general idea of it, but it just needs parts and pieces.
Did I ever post? I'll post it in the main design and art.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
I was going to post the image of what the book currently looks like as a reference for, because this is what I posted in the design and art section.
Mm-hmm.
What an item page currently looks like. So this basically has what I think of as all of the functionality we need.
Right.
It just needs to look a little nicer. So if I don't know, if anyone else wanted to sort of have input on what it looked like, it needs to sort of, I think, have these pieces.
Yeah, we had that whole mock-up.
I don't think we had a very good mock-up of, or I guess we did sort of have.
We did. We had a good mock-up.
I think it was missing a couple things. We sort of had a mock-up of an item page, I think.
It was just the cat. I mean, you mean my concept art of the cat page?
No, I had a wireframe that I showed you guys.
I had a wireframe, yeah.
Someone had, I thought, hand-drawn one that I don't think ever got digitized.
No, the wireframe was an interactive wireframe that talked about everything that we, how the buttons functioned, where everything was on the page. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But yeah, the concept art I did was based off of that wireframe.
Yeah.
Where is this wireframe?
I'm trying to find it. I posted it somewhere in here.
Zach, what you just said is correct, right? So the wireframe that Shiloh created was based upon the concept that you put up that one day. Yeah, exactly. So
the concept that Zach put up that I see is just the cat page. Is that right?
Sorry, what was that?
The only concept art I've seen from Zach was just a cat page. Is that right? You didn't really do an item page or you didn't really do a toy page or a treat page.
Sorry, I'll be in 1 second.
No, there is. So the book the physical book and everything that has, I remember the physical book that we made that actually has the concept for it, but it's just going to get posted. But then the wireframe that Shiloh made is what is based upon what he made. So in other words, we just need to get the wireframe and also the physical book itself to you to help you understand exactly how that works. And it should be golden like ice. That makes no sense.
What did you say?
So it should be golden like ice. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the book, the physical book, and the mock-up. Golden, yes, golden like ice. That's my new thing. I just made it up. So the physical book, and Shiloh is getting ready to post the wireframe. I see here a little thing going around, and bada bing, bada boom. It's there. There we go. So Shay, that's the wireframe that Shiloh made. And oh crap, can we still get to it? No, we gotta sign in. You gotta sign in, Shiloh. That's the private one. Remember?
Oh, there were two of them.
Crap. Yeah, there were two of them.
Sorry. Let me find the other one.
Oh, good.
Sorry, family just got here.
You're fine. We're like after art and stuff like that. There's nothing else that we got going. So,
all right.
We'll be fine. Shiloh, you don't. I mean, if you can post it later and stuff like that. You don't
I thought I had a post on here of it. Oh, here it is. There it is. Go back. Just kidding. There you go.
Awesome. Okay. So this is it. Ah, shoot.
There you are. Okay.
Yes. Too many freaking windows open. All right. Yeah, so there's the cat, toy, and treats. Treats. And so it's kind of like what Shay, it's what kind of different from what Shay has.
So if you click on one of the icons for the ingredients, let's see. Click on the cat toy. Not up there. That's for the overall tab. Click on one of the ones after. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So it's like a character sheet. It has a large image of the item at the top. This one doesn't have a lifespan. Like it's one of the toys that the cat always has available, so that the player always has a chance to play. So you see that infinite sign there. That just indicates that it doesn't ever wear out. At the top there, the boxes are there to represent whatever the icon would be for the region that you find. That this one is like you find materials for it in. The materials to craft it are below that, and the cats that like this toy are below that. So as you discover which ones like this one, you'll be able to see, what the relationships are. And this is one of the cats that's a cat you haven't found yet, and that's a cat that you have. It'll have the mood meter below the cat's icon, so those are depending on whether the cat's happy or not.
Mm-hmm.
Its mood meter would be reflected there. This also has the region that the cat enjoys visiting, the treats that it likes, the toys that it likes, and the other cats that it likes. So if you have another cat in the scene, this cat might like other cats. Some of them might not, but... And then this is a region. Those are the materials that you find to build that region. Right, regions take a lot more stuff to make, to craft. So, and you see the numbers below. Those are how you know how much of each item you have. Whoa.
I was trying to zoom in, but
yeah,
there's no way to zoom in.
Anyway, it's mostly just it's a circular sort of thing, but I did want. I don't have the crafting or the placing buttons on here, which is what Shay was saying we were missing.
Yeah. I also wonder if there's too much, like on the toy page. I don't know if we should have like what cats like it and stuff. I don't know. I think at some point you have too much information on the page.
This was something that we talked about, and that was what I was asking you guys. Like, did you want to be able to like help the player document like everything that they found while they were going along? Like, oh, these cats like each other. Or is it something that you want them to keep in the back of their head and just
I like the idea of like the cat page having what toys the cat likes. Like the cat page is very much just like that. That's information.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like you need to put that again on the toy page.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it if it wasn't for the fact that I think everything, like anything that you click on, should be huge. Like if you look what I made, those buttons are too small. The like craft and place buttons are too small.
Yeah.
So all the UI should be pretty big, and so you don't want to try to fit too much stuff on there.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, just because it's sort of when you're like trying to look at the book on your phone through your phone and tap on things, it's can be difficult to hit exactly where you want. Because it's sort of always moving around a little bit. So you're trying to like sort of hit a slightly moving target with the buttons and stuff, and it's good to have nice big buttons.
Okay.
So and the worry was that we took all the UI off of the phone screen and everything and put it in the book, and so now we have to remember that we also need to make sure that the book's UI interaction is big enough, like Shay was saying, and everything that would actually be fulfilling, and actually it would actually work well. So it's something that I don't think we ever really thought about until just recently about not only interacting with the book, but just like how to make sure that just this works because the fact that we're taking it off the screen. So we just got to make sure that works as well. So, okay. Cool. I really like the book, by the way. I'm glad that because one thing I wanted to make sure about this project is that we are doing stuff in AR that we've never seen before, and I haven't seen that yet. So, awesome. Alrighty. So, we've gone a little bit longer than what we usually do because we talked and then I was catch up and stuff like that. So, I guess we can just do this last part in the art department, and then we can just complete our day and have a good Sunday and whatnot afterwards. So take it away, Zach. I know you have people in your house as well, so
that's fine. All right.
Yeah.
So I have for Jared to make the change of the collar, like we talked about, increasing the size, as well as looking back at some of his old models, like or the catnip model. I'm asking him to increase the saturation of the leaves as well as make the leaves more symmetrical. See, I have on here for him to model the Arctic mailbox, which is the fish mailbox. See, make it for David to make any finishing touches, changes to the wind up mouse according to what Shay was talking about, and mailbox animations, as well as the letter animation that comes out of the envelope. We need to, before we even think about starting to animate the cats, we need to make sure the rig is good. For me, I'm going to do concept art for the Sword and Stone toy and decide whether or not that's going to be like an electric back and forth sword that moves through the stone, or if it's on a spring. And I'm going to start concept art for the Princess Kitty.
Yay! Princess Kitty.
This is like a marketing dream come true because, like, with all these cute little toys, I could totally see us starting like our own brand of cat toys.
Good point. I mean, hey. Oh, so this is actually a thought and everything. Going along with that, Shyla, once we like get in like November and everything, can you reach out to that person that you mentioned in the newspaper and tell them about this so we can actually, get some people to see exactly what's been going on and stuff for the past year? That'd be cool.
I think that was last year that he contacted me for
the
Dreams.
Oh really? For Dreams? Okay. I know he contacted you for when we were doing the mobile VR stuff like that, Rover VR. But
I haven't done that this year. I've done that was pretty much since October. I've been tapering off. But yeah, I can look into it and see if I can. I still have his email somewhere.
Cool. Yeah, I think that would be good to actually show like, hey, there's like a game being created. Actually, it has more. As of course, there are more people that actually live in different parts of the country and everything. But it's like we have a good amount of folks like right here locally and stuff like that. So it's kind of branching out from there. So I think that'd be really cool to show like, hey, this is actually like something that's being made and using this tech and stuff like that. So I would also like, hey, this is always like the idea for me is always like the feelers out there to see if people want to support us financially, stuff like that, so we can, get people paid back and stuff like that for the time. But we'll see what happens. So that's the reason why I would like reach out in the future.
The paying back thing is always complicated.
Yeah, exactly. But it'd just be really cool just to show like, hey, we're actually working this and everything.
Yeah,
Some of that. Yeah. So that's okay.
Oh, so yeah, and just in case you guys don't realize it, we do have a Unity group on Unity Connect for this project and others.
Oh yeah.
If you've worked on them, and if you're on Unity Connect, and this is something that you want to be able to attach yourself to, let me know, and I'll send you an invitation.
Yeah, I would want an invitation because I bet you did it a lot better than I did because I don't think I explained this project better well on my Unity Connect account. So if you could please, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I did it as an organization rather than as an individual, so
I feel you.
It's a little bit different. So I can say that you're part of a project under Atelier, but
true.
So I think there might be additional invitations and things that I can send out, but I'll send you an invitation if you guys want to link up on Unity Connect, and that way you can add this to your portfolio there if it's something that you're interested in.
Cool. Thank you very much, Charlotte, for making that possible. Alrighty. Is there anything that we can talk about before we finish for the day? David, David, if you need clarity about the dope sheet stuff, just message me about it and we'll talk about it. I've actually got a little bit extra free time today in my life, so I might actually do something fun today. So just contact me if you need help. So yeah, is there anything else that needs to be discussed that we need to talk about before we finish for the day? All right. Didn't hear anything. So thank you very much, everybody that came to the meeting today. Continue working on the project and let me know if you have any questions or thoughts or things we need to work on, or things we need to change. Just message me and we'll work on it and make it work as a team. All right. So everybody have a good Sunday. Have a great Sunday and have a great week and make things happen for you and be happy.
Hey, everybody coming Tuesday?
Yeah. I should be able to come Tuesday because I don't have a quiz until Wednesday.
Okay.
What are we going to be discussing Tuesday?
Basically just trying to see, I don't know, more about this maybe? I just kind of like meeting up with people in person and seeing what's going on.
I feel you.
I feel like it makes more progress on the project when we meet in person, but...
Yeah. I like when we have a plan.
Yeah, I don't have a plan off the top of my head, but
I agree with Zach and everything. I like to have a plan too and stuff like that. But I understand Shiloh like coming together and everything is really helpful too. But it would be awesome if we had like a goal for something like that for that night, so we can get prepared and everything. So, if you have anything, just let us know. And Scott, I think that we're going to this seems like the tutorial stuff and everything seems to be the